overall season as a college head coach, 4 years at Utah Valley, now his third season at Cal, as Lee Dort will jump center for the Golden Bears, and the Roadrunners in the blue, and it's Pierre Geneste Jr. jumping, and Cal controls. The home whites for the Golden Bears. A lot of new faces to get familiar with. Here's one of them. There is Camden from the corner, and right away, John Camden a three.
He makes his presence known. How about that? His first shot is a Cal Bear, and he drains the shot. They're going to check, I think, to see if that was a three, but what a ice in the veins, huh?
So there was a clock issue, and that's why we had to momentarily stop the game, and now we can resume. And if they are going to review it, it has to come at the next timeout.
I thought it was a three.
And there's an offensive foul, an illegal screen off the ball, and it's on Pierre Geneste Jr., the Fresno State transfer of Bakersfield, the native of Haiti. Not a good start for the Roadrunners. Lee Dort, who physically looks different. He really worked hard in his body in the offseason. He looks like a new man. Here's Justin Pippen getting inside. Chris Bell, and the Syracuse transfer traveled, and it goes over to Cal State Bakersfield.
Well, John Camden saying, shoot it, shoot it. No, I love that these players are talking to one another. They did it in practice yesterday. Big time communication, you have to have it.
One thing you will notice, there's your starting five for Cal. The ball got kind of stagnant at times. Look, Wilkinson and Stojakovic were terrific scorers, but the ball seemed to stick and a lot of one-on-one play. That's going to be vastly different this year. Well, what I've seen so far, the ball has been moving and whipping around.
And that's important, without a go-to player, that's the negative. The positive, there's going to be a little more equal opportunity.
Good defense from Bell as he challenges Dailiin Smith, and Cal pushes back the other way. Virginia transfer, Dai Dai Ames into the lane. The up and under, and the block coming over. Pierre Geneste Jr. rejects it out of bounds.
I thought that was a sure too, Roxy. I looked at the step through, I said, count that. And Geneste came all the way over, said he had another different idea. Let's get that out of bounds. Replay, let's run that back.
Geneste was at Fresno State last year, a couple of years there in fact. Began his college career at Louisiana Tech as the role for Justin Pippen, the Michigan transfer.
Now, they've got some experienced guys, Rox. Usually with newcomers, you say, well, there's a new team, but these are new guys, but not inexperienced players.
And if you're wondering, yes, he is the son of Scottie Pippen, the Hall of Famer, who is here at Hospavilion tonight.
Who is in the house.
There he is. There is Scottie Pippen, of course, winning 6 titles with the Bulls. 17 years in the NBA for the Naismith Hall of Famer. Camden from downtown again. And there is Lee Dort on the offensive glass for Cal. The kick out. Chris Bell missing a three. C.J. Hardy rips it down. Here comes Bakersfield. On the attack, all the way to the basket. Lee Dort blocks the shot. A reset for the Roadrunners and a tough challenge three. In and out. Dailiin Smith, and a foul going for the rebound. And it's on Bakersfield. Second on Pierre Geneste Jr.
You can see Cal inside, Roxy. They've got some size. You're going to have to really, hustle and try to get to the glass, try to get some extra possessions. But Cal's not going to give them that. They've got too much size up front.
This is a review initiated by our officiating crew, an ACC crew led by Jamel Spearman with Jeff Pond, Adam Fiore. And it is under review for a potential flagrant one against Bakersfield. The common foul on the floor was on Pierre Geneste. And right there is what they're going to be looking at to see if it warrants an upgrade on the common foul against Pierre Geneste Jr. This, again, is I have to be specific because this was the referees initiating this review. There is a rule change in college basketball similar to the NBA rule as far as coaches challenged. Before, if you wanted to challenge or ask the officials to check something, it was kind of unlimited. Now it's like the NBA model where you get 1 challenge per game. You must have a timeout to be able to challenge. And they are upgrading it to a flagrant one. This is the new rule this year, so you must have a timeout to challenge a play. And teams are given one per game. If you're successful, you get another. These are some of the other rule changes in college basketball this season and what can be challenged as far as the guidelines. So flagrant one, by the way, was called on Geneste. That is the acting coach, Mike Scott of Bakersfield. Lee Dort will shoot 2, and Cal will have possession because of the flagrant one.
Well, they've done a lot of this just to keep the action moving, Roxy, but action hasn't really been moving much. But that's what they're trying to do, is just give you, limit this, get the review, and move on.
One more for Dort, and Lee Dort goes 1 for 2. He was a 60% foul shooter last year. And again, it's a Cal possession because of the flagrant one charged to Pierre Geneste Jr. And Bakersfield put some pressure on. This team is going to run. They're going to try to play full court. It's been an interesting ride for Bakersfield. We'll get into the story of what's going on with the Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunners this year, because there's been, unfortunately, a big turnover. Dai Dai Ames, Justin Pippen. Wide open is Ames. And way off on the 3, the offensive rebound, Lee Dort kicks out. Corner 3, missed by Chris Bell. And the rebound grabbed by Tom Mark for Bakersfield. A.J. George, transferred from SMU, number 10 in blue. Played his first 2 years at Long Beach State, was a really good player for Dan Munson. And then went to SMU last year, comes back to the West Coast and going to Bakersfield as the Cal foul is on Dai Dai Ames. And the first team foul against Cal.
Roxy, if you're Bakersfield, you've got to do a good job now. You have not gotten on the board, so you're going to have to get there, whether it be an outside perimeter shot or maybe get to the foul line, but they got to score, kind of break this drought.
A.J. George backing his way in against Justin Pippen. In the lane, rolls off the offensive rebound, couple of pump fakes, and a travel call. Jessamy called for the travel, the Tennessee State transfer for Bakersfield.
Now, and that's Lee Dort's presence, Roxy. Just his size was intimidating. Instead of going up and drawing the foul, he pivoted and couldn't get a shot off. Travel.
Third turnover on the Roadrunners already. And they're having a tough time with the Cal defense. Justin Pippen launches. And the rebound and a whistle going for the rebound. And it appears to be on Bakersfield, and it's on A.J. George.
Well, Cal's gotten their hands on almost every offensive rebound opportunity. They've tipped it, they've kept it alive. So if you're Bakersfield, and they talked about this in practice today, they've got to put a body on Cal, because Cal's getting some free second loads, second shot at possessions.
Lob, Lee Dort off the inbound. Gathers and lays it in. 8-0 Cal. Team with 13 newcomers, 9 transfers. Off to a good start against the Roadrunners, who went 14-19 last year. Finished 8th in the Big West. They lost in the quarterfinals of the Big West tournament to UC Santa Barbara, as Cal makes it 10-0 in the first points for Dai Dai Ames as a Cal Bear, and the acting head coach of Bakersfield. Mike Scott calls time, and a terrific start for the Cal Bears.
Cal's on fire, Roxy, and their newcomers are getting it done. You can see the action here. Camden free from the corner. And obviously Dai Dai Ames strong to the basket. Like their new guys, they're tough.
It's a head coach.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's a load, Rox. But you know what? We've spent some time with Mike, and he does a really good job. I think he's put all this in perspective. You got to put it behind you, but you can't forget it. It happened, and so you deal with it. And I think he's done a good job getting his team focused, and it's kind of a plus that he's also been there. He knows some of his returning players and can move his program forward.
It is his 9th year as a Roadrunner, 8 years as an assistant to Rod Barnes. Backdoor in the lane, and a foul will get C.J. Hardy to the line for the Roadrunners. So Mike Scott, not a newcomer to Cal State Bakersfield, but newcomer to this role in terms of being the head coach. That's a big adjustment, considering you take over for your mentor. And we should point out that Rod Barnes' son Brennan is on the staff for Mike Scott. He had been an assistant at Bakersfield.
Well, their program has been competitive over the years, so you don't want to change everything, but you have to deal with what happened, and that's part of sports. It happens, and so you move on, and you just stay positive, and you make the best of it. But I like his attitude, his coaching staff, very positive, and they're going to focus on the unit that he has and the team and move forward.
One more for C.J. Hardy, the senior from Gardena. And the first point for the Roadrunners. This foul was actually on Dai Dai Ames, his second. And he'll get a breather here with the 2 fouls, not even 5 minutes into the game.
Well, he didn't get the layup, but he did get the free throws, and that's huge. You want to get on the board. I think it's part of first game jitters, also part of Cal's defense. Cal's been good. Their theme has been about defense, and so far they've been on mark.
Nolan Dorsey in the game, the senior, the transfer from Campbell for Cal. And a whistle away from the ball and a hold. Again, the emphasis this year is freedom of movement. And off the ball, they're going to be looking for stuff like that.
Yeah, as always, Roxy, you're going to see more fouls called earlier in the season. Players will adjust. I think teams will adjust, and you'll see less and less. But they've got to, if you're going to emphasize something, you've got to make calls.
Well, if they want to play, they need to adjust.
Yeah, exactly. And teams will. They always do.
The second on A.J. George, who sits. Justin Pippen into the key. Hangs, lays it in. A pretty finish by Justin Pippen.
He's been on mark too. I mean, of course, his dad's here rooting him on, but that's just 2 really good drives off of closeouts and finishes. Big time finish.
Bakersfield still looking for their first made field goal. 5 minutes in. Dailiin Smith off balance, rattles it in. And Dailiin Smith, who sat out last season recovering from a knee injury, and the grad transfer from Alabama A&M with the first bucket for the Roadrunners.
And he can do that.
Count the basket, a goaltend.
Roxy, you know, if you're Bakersfield, or if you're Cal now, I like the ball movement, the ability of Justin Pippen just to get by his defender. But unselfish play by Cal, the ball's moving. There's been excellent ball movement, and now they're taking advantage of closeouts, and Justin Pippen's got a great first step.
A couple of subs for Mark Madsen. Ritas Petritis in for the first time, the senior coming off the bench tonight. And also checking in the transfer from Loyola of Maryland, senior from Serbia, Milos Ilic.
Well, you're in good shape, Roxy, if you could bring a Ritas Petritis off the bench, because he's probably a starter anywhere else. That he's a team guy willing to give up that position, come off the bench and give his team a spark. We know he can do that. He's demonstrated that his whole career.
First foul on Nolan Dorsey. Dailiin Smith. And last touch by Ron Jessamy. It belongs to Cal.
Well, Bakersfield's getting to the basket, but they're having a tough time completing the play. A lot of it has to do with Cal and their size. They're rushing themselves, trying to avoid contact with Cal's interior presence. I think if you're Bakersfield, you've got to try to extend a little bit, try to get this tempo going, maybe get some easier baskets. Nothing's come easy for the Roadrunners so far.
And the block. Good help side defense by Tom Mark for Bakersfield, but Cal keeps it alive. Ritas Petritis inside will get to the line.
Very opportunistic play right there. A loose ball, scramble. And Cal's just been so good early at getting touches. The ball's moving, Roxy. There are multiple touches on every possession, and it's not sticking. Last year, as you mentioned, and for good reason, the ball tended to stick with the big-time scores. You don't see any of that so far in this game.
First on Ron Jessamy. 2 shots for Petritis, 72% from the line last year for Ritas Petritis. He averaged 8 points and nearly 6 rebounds a game.
Keep your eyes on him. He does so many things for this team, not even stat related. I mean, you talk about taking a charge, playing great defense, coming up with steals. He does it all.
Cal's opened up a 12-point lead. Detritus led Cal in steals a year ago. Started the majority of the season coming off the bench here in the season opener. Second straight season, Cal has opened up the year against Bakersfield as the step back from Jessamy for the Roadrunners.
Well, that's a good look. They're going to need more of that. They're going to try to have to get the ball up in that short corner, maybe get some post-ups and some easier shots. They haven't had any easy looks yet.
Last year, Cal won the season opener between these two teams, 86-73. 364 days ago. Lay-in, wide open underneath. First points for Milos Ilic.
Great look, great backdoor cut. When the defense turns their head, Roxy, you got to attack the basket. That's just what Cal did.
And the reach in, and a foul committed by Rytis Petritis, as the Roadrunners will end up with the line for two.
Well, you can see again that the ball movement. Look at the pass inside. Good job of Pippen keeping his head up. And Cal again, just multiple touches on their possessions. I think it's paying off so far early. It's very difficult to guard when the ball's moving and players are moving. If only one's moving, no good. You got both factors moving. Very difficult to defend against.
Rattles out for Dailiin Smith. His last year at Alabama A&M, he averaged 14 points a game, was a 79% foul shooter. And he was in the portal for almost 2 years because of the torn ACL, and finished up his degree work at Alabama A&M early in the summer, then joined the Roadrunners midway in the summer, and it's taken a little while to get over and get comfortable and confidence back in that knee.
Well, but it's good perseverance. Good story about perseverance, Roxy. He's done that. Look at that cut.
Justin Pippen fouled at the rim and will shoot two.
That was a return the favor time right there. Big fella to Pippen on the back cut. They're doing a good job, Roxy, of basket cutting against pressure. You're getting denied. You got a basket cut.
Mike Price Jr. called for the foul, the redshirt freshman from Chicago. That sends Justin Pippen to the line. Limited opportunities, but 86% from the line last year at Michigan.
Until you mentioned it.
I figured he was too good of a foul shooter for me to screw it up.
I had to give you one anyways. Really believe in that, but it's funny how many times that works or doesn't work.
Highly recruited out of Southern California, missing both, as Pippen played in 28 games off the bench for Michigan last year.
Cal's doing a good job in their ball screens, Roxy. They're really making it difficult for the Roadrunners to come off ball screens. Switching out, staying with it.
The fadeaway, Tom Mark using the window.
Well, I like that move. That's a great drive and finish off the window.
The senior from Belgium. As the Roadrunners have trimmed it to single digits. Here is Simitri Carr, the freshman from Mill Valley. And the freshman making his college debut here tonight is Pippen. Has it stripped, going inside, and it belongs to Bakersfield. 11.5 minutes to go. First half, season opener. Bakersfield pushing their way back a little bit. 9-point lead for Cal. The Bay, and a good start for the Golden Bears in the season opener, especially defensively. Leading by as many as 12. They're up 18-9 on Bakersfield. Cal with 5 offensive rebounds already, 10 of their 18 coming in the paint. And speaking of the paint, the lob over the top to Pierre Geneste Jr. for Bakersfield.
Yeah, great play out of the timeout, or out of the dead ball. Great opportunity to score.
Dai Dai Ames on the step back. And the rebound grabbed by Pierre Geneste for Bakersfield. Pull-up jumper on the baseline, too strong, but the weak side rebound, Tom Mark for the Roadrunners. Dailiin Smith, a deep three.
watch out for the Roadrunners. They're starting to now feel a little bit, Roxy. They were down 10-zip to start this game. They've knocked it down to within 4.
8 straight for the Roadrunners. And Dailiin Smith leading Bakersfield with 6. T.T. Carr penetrates. Firing a 3. And a good look, but it wouldn't go for Nolan Dorsey, but the long rebound run down by the freshman T.T. Carr. Ritas Petritis missing from the corner, and then Dai Dai Ames losing it out of bounds. It belongs to Bakersfield.
You can see the offensive rebounds, but it's the Roadrunners now on the lob over the top. Big fella with the catch and flush. Big time play, great ball movement, and another 3 for the Roadrunners. They're creeping back in this game. Their confidence level has risen considerably since the outset of this game.
They've recovered from that rough start. Down by 12, they've made 4 their last 5, and they've cut it to 4. Offensive foul, the push off, Jaden Alexander using the offhand to shove Dai Dai Ames out of the way.
And Dai Dai Ames sold it, Roxy. If you're going to take a charge, you got to sell it a little bit, but that's a good play, really good play.
First on the junior, the local kid from this area, Jaden Alexander from Fairfield, a transfer from New Mexico State, played his high school ball at St. Vincent here in Northern California. Chris Bell, he walked.
Yeah, if he takes off to pass or shoot it, there's no travel, but he came back down. Good call by the officials.
Cal with a turnover. Speaking of local guys, Bell returning to the Bay Area. Spent the last 3 years at Syracuse. He went to De La Salle for high school for 3 years before playing his final year of high school ball at Wasatch Academy in Utah. Then went to Syracuse and now transferring back here to the Bay Area. To the bucket, and they're going to call it goaltending on Lee Dort. Another bucket for Dailiin Smith, and Bakersfield has trimmed it to 2. 10 straight for the Roadrunners.
That's a good call. The ball was, I think, off the glass. He got it there quick, great quick move. Get it up off the glass. Once it hits that glass, generally going to be a goaltend. Very hard to get it on the way up once it hits the glass.
Firing a 3. Too strong from John Camden, and there is Pierre Geneste pulling down the rebound for the Roadrunners. Foul out top on T.T. Carr.
Well, you know, Roxy, I think what got Cal the lead to start the game was their defense. They're going to have to come back and tighten up because a lot of times you're worried about your offense, especially your first game of the year. But if you're just playing defense, the offense will even out. I think defense can really be the equalizer. So I think Cal has got to get back to what they did to start this game. They were pretty dominant earlier on defensively.
Inside 9 minutes to go until halftime. Cal led by as many as 12, splitting the double team. Tom Mark left it short. Lee Dort, the rebound, and Cal looks to run. Bears have gone over 4 minutes without scoring. Lee Dort underneath. Just too strong from Dort, point blank.
He had a good look. I mean, that was pretty much a gimme. Just rushed himself.
Travel call. Ron Jessamy tried to step away from the hands, and so it didn't get tied up, and he backpedaled into a travel.
Well, that's good defense by Cal. They really swarmed inside. 2-3 guys on the ball caused the travel.
Clean look. Fouled on a 3, a chance for 4. John Camden.
He's the one that got things started, Roxy, and now they had kind of gone away from him. And it was Pippen that says, no, let's go back to John and see if he can get things going again. And no question, he got fouled, measured the three, knocks that down. That's a huge momentum swing.
Tom Mark called for the foul. Second three for Camden, who averaged just under 17 a game last year for the Fighting Blue Hens of Delaware.
Oh, he had quite a year at Delaware, Roxy. I mean, you look at his stats, he had almost a monster year. 17 a game, 6 rebounds, did a lot of things, 80 from the line, 40 from three. That's a great year.
And Camden's bounced around. 1 year at Delaware, previous 2 years at Virginia Tech, started his college career at Memphis. As Camden from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Deep three, Dailiin Smith, short, and the rebound lead Dort and Cal.
Another good possession defensively from Cal.
Over the top to Dort. Then he lost the handle, but Chris Bell couldn't save it, and it goes right into the Bakersfield bench and a turnover. 4-point play by Camden, giving Cal a 6-point lead.
Once weekly Mounjaro could help. Dual-acting Mounjaro is the only FDA-approved type 2 diabetes medicine of its kind. 3 out of 4 people reached an A1C of less than 7%. Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects may include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills, and before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and may cause kidney problems.
I can do diabetes differently with Mounjaro.
Pay as little as $25 per month. Ask your doctor about Mounjaro.
1 second, they're a neighbor you like. The next, they're a neighbor you trust.
Actually, no problem.
1 second, you're worrying about your home. And then, thanks to ADT, there's a lot less to worry about. Feel secure enough to let others in with Trusted Neighbor from ADT.
When you own your own business, you own every decision. And with 8 times points on Chase Travel, now own the card that rewards you for it. Introducing the business card that gives back all you put in. The new Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Box One Bundle.
Only yourself. Look at the job that the Roadrunners did, reeling off 10 straight to get back in this game. They go over the top for a good look. They got the step back and they got the finish from the perimeter. Good ball movement, knockdown shots. I mean, that's just confidence. You're down and you're not really licking your wounds. You're just finding a way to get back in the game. Roadrunners have done that, Roxy. Coach Scott's team has really shown you something. They're metal right here.
Bakersfield lost a couple of their big scorers from a year ago. Jamel Jones transferred to New Mexico State. He averaged 19 a game last year for Bakersfield. Corey Stevenson transferred as well to FIU, averaged 11.5 a game last year. Then Marvin McGee III transferred to UT Rio Grande Valley. Marvin McGee IV transferred to UC Santa Barbara. So they've had players go out, players come in, and certainly what we alluded to with the changing in the leadership at Bakersfield also, and acting head coach Mike Scott.
Well, you can't focus on what you've lost. That doesn't get you anywhere. Mark Madsen's no exception. You got to focus on who you got and what they can bring you. They've done that.
Dailiin Smith. Bumped, counted, and won. Dailiin Smith.
That's a smart play. Cal switching ball screens, and they're pretty good 1 through 4, but when you get the 5-man Dort involved trying to guard a guard, now you got a little bit of a mismatch, and the Roadrunners took advantage of that. You can see here's the switch out, and it was Lee Dort who just quite couldn't get to his spot and defend.
And that right there is an example of one of the new rules in college basketball this year. Last year, there's a very good chance that shot is wiped out, and a continuation play this year, they're giving the continuation play as long as there's not another move in the process. You make that fluid move and you will get the continuation call in college basketball this year. Another change to the rules this year in college hoops.
Yeah, more and more like the NBA, Roxy, the gather, the continuation. They're trying to put some points on the board, make it entertaining, and I kind of like it. Keeps the flow going. I really like the rule.
Second foul on Ron Jessamy, Cal in the bonus, and it'll be a 1-and-1 for John Camden.
Well, this could be a factor now. Cal's gotten into the bonus pretty early. They've worked hard to get there, and so if they can continue to draw fouls, maybe get it to the basket, this will pay off going into halftime.
One more for Camden, who's got 8 to lead Cal.
Well, he's a good free throw shooter, and I don't want to put the jinx on, but he's been a pretty good free throw shooter most of his career. And, you know, he can do it all, but that's valuable to have.
6-point lead for Cal.
Look at Cal with the extended defense, Roxy. They're extending their defense, trying to get a little bit of a trap at the 10-second line. Now they're going to have, Bakersfield going to have to play on a little bit of a shorter clock.
A couple of guys out for Cal tonight as well. No DeJuan Campbell, the artist formerly known as DJ Campbell. DeJuan Campbell is day-to-day, hoping to have Thursday as a travel call to A.J. George. When Cal will host Wright State here at House Pavilion Thursday night, but just not ready to go tonight, dealing with a little bit of a groin issue. And also Giovanni Ruff not in uniform for Cal.
Well, that's a loss, Roxy, because Campbell's one of their more experienced players from a year ago.
Fouled on a 3, and Bell nearly had a chance for 4.
Well, that's a rangy look from Cal. You have a 6'7" wing that can knock down shots. That's a luxury, and he sized it up and then drew the foul, but that's a no-no. You don't want to foul the three-point shooter.
And also out for Cal tonight, Sammy Yane, the transfer from Grand Canyon, who's probably going to be out a little bit longer. And Mark Madsen hoping that it'll be sooner rather than later for Yane, who's a big body.
But one thing Cal has in its favor this year, there's injuries early and that happens, but they've got depth. If you look at their lineup up and down, they've got guys that can come off the bench and they don't really miss a lot. So not even really, maybe even a clear starting lineup. So that's a luxury too for Cal.
Bell goes 2 for 3, gets the roll on the third and final shot.
There's a 1-2-2 extended defense. Not really a trapping press, more of a nuisance press, just trying to slow the Roadrunners down and now make them play on a short clock.
Splitting the double team. And the layup missed by Mike Price Jr., and Cal looks to bring it back the other way. Here's Dort. With the left hand lead, Dort.
Well, that's the new and improved lead, Dort, because I don't know that he had the left hand that well last year, and he also had the quick move to the basket. Really showed you his ability to attack the basket quickly.
6 straight for Cal, back to a double-figure lead. Steal, Justin Pippen glides in, and Cal has matched their largest lead.
Roxy, that looked familiar to you at all? Maybe.
Except Dad would have dunked it.
I don't know, but that's a good steal. And Scottie Pippen had his share of steals. Defense has to run in the family. Love it. Here it is. Highway robbery. Justin Pippen with the steal. He could have dunked that. He just didn't want to get up there and get tangled in the rim of the net.
8-0 run for Cal. The Golden Bears have matched their largest lead. Camden leads Cal with 9, 7 for Lee Dort. Justin Pippen with 6. Dailiin Smith of Bakersfield leads all scorers in the game with 10.
You know, Roxy, I like Cal's energy early, even though they went into a lull and gave up a run. You know, they're showing you that they're willing to play defense, get a little bit grimy, get into the passing lanes and rebound, push the ball now a little different than last year. They didn't really push it as much. And Mark Madsen told us yesterday, hey, look, if we get some rebounds and we can push it, even on a made basket, we're going to try to get that ball off the floor, and they've done that tonight.
Cal holding Bakersfield to 37% shooting. And Bakersfield's only attempted 3 threes, which is unheard of in college basketball for almost 15 minutes of action.
No, and they used to shoot the ball from three-point range with a lot more frequency a year ago.
Last year they were terrific from outside the arc. They shot 38% as a team. And a walk. Turnover run. Jessamy took an extra step.
Well, and that's Cal's defense, Roxy. I mean, you can say that's careless basketball, but the Roadrunners are finding out what I think a lot of teams are going to find out. You get the ball all the way down deep against Cal, you're going to have to go over 6'10", 6'11", maybe even 7 feet.
Deep three. And that one not close from John Camden. Here comes C.J. Hardy darting up the floor. And he says beep beep and gets to the bucket.
Well, I like that. You turn a missed shot into a you know.
You didn't get it, Ben? The Roadrunner, beep beep, come on.
Coast. Well, listen, I'm just trying to follow. You know, I'm coaching the game out here. I'm going to see my guys take the ball in the full court. I like it now. It's not too late to get a laugh in, is it? I mean, it's a delayed reaction.
Wile E. Coyote, come on, Ben.
Now you're getting into my era. I didn't know you were even from that era. Wow, Roxy, you're dating yourself with that one.
C.J. Hardy for the N1 free throw. The foul was on Justin Pippen.
Not sure my kids even know who Wile E. Coyote is, but that's a good one.
9-point Cal lead. Chris Bell leans in. Ritas Petritis hustling on the offensive glass. And a tough putback from Petritis.
Well, that's what he does. You can count that as one of the things he's going to do throughout this season. He has an eye for the basketball.
That's already 7 offensive rebounds for Cal. And that's something they did very well last year, was offensive rebounds, as Cal was the top offensive rebounding team in the ACC. Chris Bell, transition 3, and the loose ball batted around, and Bakersfield comes away with it, and here comes C.J. Hardy. Goes to the bucket. Bell! Count it, a goaltend. Hardy will get the bucket, and the lead is 9 now for Cal. 3:48 to go.
Chris Petritis, Ritas, where are you? He's on the basket. Getting the job done for them on the floor in log minutes.
Justin Pippen tripped on his way to the basket, will go to the line. And the double bonus, he'll shoot 2.
Well, like we said, down the stretch of this half, watch the bonus, because that's going to enable Cal to maybe continue to build this lead. You know, I've been impressed so far with Cal's passing ability. They've got a number of guys, and it's a point guard that gives you your passing. They've got point forwards, point post guys that can really point passes. That's an advantage for your team.
Justin Pippen now 0 for 3 from the line.
Yeah, because you mentioned he was an 86% free throw shooter.
So it's my fault.
Absolutely. Since I didn't get the joke about the beep beep, I got to come back now.
1 out of 2 for Pippen.
Well, that'll even
back
out
to double digits.
And that'll even out too. Free throws as the season goes on. Good free throw shooters become good free throw shooters. I think a lot of it's opening game.
That's another thing Cal did really well last year was get to the line. They made the most free throws per game in the ACC last year. In fact, Cal was 11th in the country in free throws made per game last year.
No, they did, and again, they had some guys, though, they could put the ball in certain guys' hands, and they were able to get to the rim. So I think this year a little bit more by committee, but they've got post guys that can get there, and they've got guards that aren't afraid to attack. So this could be another, I think, a real plus for Mark Madsen and his staff to get these guys and his team shooting some free throws.
First one missed by Ron Jessamy. Second foul on Ritas Petritis. And Jessamy, who played his freshman year at Mount St. Mary's, transferred to Tennessee State in Nashville last year, and now out to Bakersfield. The Philadelphia native goes 1 for 2 from the stripe. Cal breaks the press, looks to attack, and the quick hands of Dailiin Smith knocking it out of bounds. It'll be on the baseline to the Golden Bears.
That's a textbook press break right there. Getting the ball point blank for a layup, but good defensive hustle to recover.
And Cal anticipated getting pressed by Bakersfield, and they worked extensively on it in practice yesterday. A press break, and off the inbound, the first points, it's a Cal Bear for Nolan Dorsey.
Now, good execution, but Cal's worked hard on that. I think they've got guys, again, just a good passing team. They're going to be a hard team to press. They've got both ball handlers and passers.
C.J. Hardy, tough step back in the corner, and there is Justin Pippen grabbing the rebound for Cal, then taken back by Bakersfield. Attacking the basket, the layup missed, but Dailiin Smith will go to the free throw line.
Well, that was a good possession for Cal defensively, but then they turn it over after playing good defense. You got to be able to convert your defense to the offense. I know early in the season, Mark Madsen and his staff will talk about that, but again, I've been impressed with Cal's defense. They've made it very difficult on possessions for the Roadrunners to get good looks in the basket.
Second on Nolan Dorsey. Dailiin Smith 1 for 3 from the line. Now 1 for 4 for Dailiin Smith. Gets the second. And it's a 10-point lead for Cal. And Dailiin Smith leading all scorers in the game with 11 for the Roadrunners.
Roadrunners changing up their press a little bit, now going to a 2-2-1 and maybe back to a little bit of zone. Different look altogether, seeing if the Cal Bears can recognize it and attack.
Nolan Dorsey missing from outside. As Cal now just 2 for 14 from 3.
That's why I think Roadrunners went to the zone, Roxy, to see if they can make Cal hit some shots. Other than Camden, nobody's been on the mark from 3.
From his rear end as Dailiin Smith lost his footing. Here comes Cal in transition. Good defensive play. C.J. Hardy counters. Hardy to the bucket. And it's knocked away, out of bounds, off of Dorsey. It'll stay at this end with the Roadrunners.
I think when the Roadrunners look back at halftime, they're going to see they had some opportunities to get to the rim. They just haven't converted. But again, it's Cal's defense that's hustled and gotten back and made it difficult.
Minute 34 until halftime. And these two teams meeting in a season opener for the second consecutive year. They've met 6 times all time, and Cal's have got a 4-2 record against Bakersfield. Last time Bakersfield beat Cal, a double dribble called against the Roadrunners, was Conzo Martin's last game as the Cal head coach. It was the first round of the NIT. Bakersfield won it back in 2017.
Yeah, remember that game.
73-66, and that was a game where Ivan Rabb decided not to play in the NIT, didn't play in that game.
Well, remember that, but I do remember the Roadrunners. They had a very good team that year, very good team.
And they went all the way to New York in the Final Four of the NIT where they lost to Georgia Tech. They won 3 road games to get to Madison Square Garden. Rod Barnes' team won here Then they won in Colorado State. That was Larry Eustachy's final game as the Rams head coach, and then won at Texas Arlington in the get to Madison Square Garden.
Well, not easy, Roxy.
And a foul committed by Cal going for the rebound.
Yeah, having been in the NIT as well, you're going to have to win not only successive games, but you're going to have to win on the road. And I know that road personally. That's not easy to do, and Rod Barnes' team did that. But I think this is a good game for the Roadrunners to schedule Cal early. Big West team playing, here against ACC. It's to continue this game and in-state. Very good game to schedule.
And an out for C.J. Hardy, who's now 3 for 4 at the line. I remember I did all 3 of those games, Bakersfield, in that NIT run that year. And Rod Barnes was begging me to go to New York with him.
Well, I could tell him personally I would have taken you too. You were pretty good luck for me when you were doing the game. So we got all the way and won it. So you're on that list, Roxy.
Hey,
Come on now.
I didn't go to New York. Bakersfield lost, just saying.
I know. You were there when we won, so that's all I know. Record speaks for yourself. It speaks for itself.
John Camden gets free, missing a 3. And Kadar Waller pulls it down. Waller, the senior from Bakersfield, a transfer from Mississippi Valley State. And its last touch by the Roadrunners and diving after it was Pierre Geneste Jr. And it belongs to Cal with 37.5 left until halftime.
Good hustle. See if Cal plays it down here. They're going to be pressed again. They take it all the way down and leave the Roadrunners very little time to come back. But Bakersfield was in a zone. Now they've matched back up man. They've gone zone back to man.
Up and under, pretty move by Milos Ilic.
Textbook, Roxy. You play for the last shot unless you get a layup. And that's a really good move.
Now the Roadrunners can play for the last bucket of the half. Hardy doesn't realize the clock, and Bakersfield will not get a shot off. Halftime at Haas Pavilion. And Cal jumped out to a 12-point lead early on Mike Scott at Bakersfield. And it's an 11-point game at the half. 37-26, Cal leading Bakersfield as the Golden Bears hold the Roadrunners to 36% shooting in the first half. And the lead is 11 at the break. Roadrunner ball to start the second half. And C.J. Hardy fumbles the ball away, recovers, then he nearly lost it out of bounds to it right to John Camden. And he has it poked out of bounds. Good recovery by Tom Mark for the Roadrunners.
Not how you want to start the half if you're the Roadrunners. A little bit sloppy with the ball. Cal very active defensively with their hands.
Slipping to the bucket, Lee Dort rams it in.
That's the second or third out of bounds play that Cal has scored point blank at the basket. Good looks. Not the first option, it's the second and even the third for the layup.
Largest lead for Cal, and Dort has now tied a career high with the 9 points. He had 9 against Air Force early last season. A.J. George, who's been quiet, and he fumbled the ball away. Chris Bell leads the break, and then he had it knocked out of bounds. Will stay at this end in a Cal ball.
Well, you can see Cal, look at the third option. The screener is open. That's always the guy you want to look to because you're helping off of his screens. He slips the screen and gets a layup. A dunk, I might add.
Dai Dai Ames off the inbound. At the foul line, the jumper by Dai Dai Ames.
And Roxy, you get the feeling he can do that pretty much any time he wants. He's got a great step back, good range. Left-hander can really knock that medium range shot down.
A.J. George going middle. And the rebound ripped down by Lee Dort. Cal running with Justin Pippen. And Pippen had it blocked by Tom Mark. Back the other way, Dailiin Smith. Draws the foul and one. The finish by Dailiin Smith.
Well, Roxy, that should never have happened. Cal had 4 defenders back, so you're 1 on 4, and they give up a layup and a foul. Here, all 4 guys for Cal are back. There's one, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and only one Roadrunner, yet he manages to score and get the shot. I know Mark Madsen and staff that'll be on the highlight reel, Phil, when they look at the defense. But that's something that, you're back with the numbers. Now you got to stop the basketball. Rule number 1.
Missing the free throw, and Cal with the rebound. John Camden fires. 3!
Again, good look from Cal. Multiple touches, multiple looks, patience upon patience, and you get the ball in one of your best shooters' hands. Great offense.
16-point margin. A.J. George denied by Justin Pippen. Cal running. John Camden to the bucket.
Roxy, they're getting out in transition off of their defense. Everything's predicated off their defense.
Corner 3, A.J. George the miss, goes over the top, and is out of bounds before it came back in, and it belongs to Cal.
Well, that's not a basket, although we've lost a game once. If I'm not mistaken on that call that wasn't made. That's another subject. We won't talk about that.
Josh Shipp on line 1, Ben.
Yeah, well, we beat UCLA 9 straight times. That would have been 10, but we didn't get that call yet. Josh Shipp, thank you very much. Joe's brother. You have good memory.
Lee Dort gathers, fouled, will get to the line. The third on Pierre Geneste Jr.
Lee Dort's a problem. He's not only a problem for the Roadrunners, and I think he's going to be a problem as this year goes on. He's a load, he's strong, does a good job pivoting, and he's a load to keep off the glass. Really hard to box out.
Dort 1 of 2 at the line. And Cal has opened up a 46-28 lead and a good start to the second half. And Dort rolls it in, and a new career high for Lee Dort.
Well, you asked yourself who's going to be around to step back up and step in for the Bears. Lee Dort is one of those guys, and he's really shown you his ability to improve his body, his composure. Really looks sure of himself out there.
And a much-needed presence. Monty Sissoko was so good for Cal, the grad transfer from Michigan State last year. Dort was the backup to him, and now Dort absorbs that role being the starting big man for Mark Madsen.
And you always had that feeling that he would make his mark because he worked so hard. He was a very hard-working guy, and it's paid off.
Tom Mark off balance will get to the free throw line. Third on John Camden. And Tom Mark, who shot his free throws 74% last year. Remember talking to Rod Barnes, the former head coach at Bakersfield, about Mark, and he was telling me, look, this kid has such a good IQ and understanding of the game. Played internationally for Belgium. One more for Mark, who was limited because of injuries last year, played in just 18 games. But Rod Barnes telling me he might have the best IQ on that squad last year for Bakersfield.
Yeah, he's a solid player. He can block shots. A lot of things he can do. Agile player at his height.
Justin Pippen rims out a 3, and the rebound pulled down by Pierre Geneste Jr. Jaden Alexander bowling his way inside will shoot a pair.
Roxy, the Roadrunners have had some success getting to the basket. They haven't always finished, and that's been their problem, their challenge. Not easy against Cal, but they have had success driving it. And when you're playing against an aggressive defense, sometimes you have to put it down and drive. I think the Roadrunners are now doing that.
2 shots for Alexander. The junior averaged 6 points a game last year. You saw an example of his physicality off the dribble right there. And one more shot coming for Jaden Alexander. His third year at Bakersfield after he redshirted as a freshman at New Mexico State. Roadrunners have not shot the free throw well tonight. They are 8 for 16 from the line.
No, they're a good free throw shooting team generally.
And they were last year at 77%.
Yeah, one of the tops.
They were 32nd in the country last year in
That's
free throw percentage.
Getting it done.
Shot clock inside 10. And Dai Dai Ames lost it out of bounds. And a timeout on the floor. Inside 16 minutes to go. Cal is up in 1951. John did it in 1953. In doubles, the Rixons were the semifinalists in 51, made it to the quarters the next 2 years. John was a first-team all-conference basketball player for Cal in 1953. His twin brother Roop also an assistant on the 1959 national championship team for Pete Newell. And our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to the Rixon family, the passing of John Rixon early today.
Well, and I heard from as did you, Roxy, Jenny, their daughter and talked about the grandkids, and just he was a friend, he was a supporter, and she said it best. He lived his life, incredible life, with grace, courage, dignity. He really did, as she said, treasured his years at Cal, and he was, he and his brother, Roop, twin brother, there were really no greater guys. You always were at our practices, they were at our games, they were just mainstays here, and they spent time with our players. Our players really looked up to those two guys, and so now just life without the Rixons, just a little tough without those two guys, but he had a great life, and I'm happy to be a part of their family, and I think we should celebrate their life. It was meaningful.
Fixtures around Cal sports for years and their entire family. So again, thinking of the Rixon family, the loss of John Rixon earlier today. 16-point Cal lead. Approaching 15 and a half minutes to go after Jaden Alexander hit a couple of free throws. Pippen leans in, blocked. Lee Dort has it blocked out of bounds. It stays with Cal. And they put 29 up on the shot clock, and they should not have reset it that high. And that is what our official, Jeff Palm, is doing right now, getting it set to 20.
Well, Mark Madsen trying to plead his case. I love that they're up 16, and Mark Madsen acting like it's tied.
Lee Dort off the inbound, fouled from behind.
A lot of teams would coast, Roxy. You build big leads, they kind of relax. Maybe Cal did it a little bit in the first half. They built that 10-0 lead, and then boom, the Roadrunners came just blasting back in the game. I think that was a message at halftime. You don't relax against these teams. Keep your foot on the gas.
Fourth on Pierre Geneste Jr. And Lee Dort back to the foul line. Now 4 for 5 at the line, a career best 12 here in the season opener for Dort.
And he just looks more confident. I don't want to jinx the free throw. We've already done that tonight, but the way he's shooting it, he seems more confident. He's more sure of himself in the paint, really measuring, taking his time, just executing. Coaches have done a great job with Lee Dort.
Transfer from Vanderbilt, 2 years at Vandy, and now his second year at Cal. Milos Ilic checking back in for Cal. Cal's made 13 of 18 from the line. Jaden Alexander. And a tough shot, good defense by Nolan Dorsey, who last year was the Defensive Player of the Year in the CAA, playing at Campbell. The floater, Dai Dai Ames.
Well, credit to, again, Coach Madsen and the staff. They're going out and getting guys, and when you can get the Player of the Year defensively, that's adding something to your team. It's not all about points. You get pieces that can commit to that end. You're going to be doing something.
Elbow jumper by Ron Jessamy.
He's been a bright spot. You know, when he gets that ball in that medium area in the post, he's tough.
Two-man game. Dai Dai Ames bursts to the basket. The reverse falls off, and the rebound grab by Jessamy for the Roadrunners. Mike Price Jr., tough shot, and good defense again from Dorsey. But then TT Carr comes up limping a little bit, and the Roadrunners capitalize. They get the ball back, and it's Ron Jessamy for an and one.
Good second effort by the Roadrunners, keeping it alive and scoring. Here you see the injury. Couldn't go after the ball because he was hurt.
Wonder if he's cramping up in the way that TT Carr is walking toward the bench, now escorted by athletic trainer Barry Parsons.
Yeah, that's tough. You're going to see probably early in the year a little more injuries than normal because you haven't played out yet. It's still early, and you're playing now at game speed all of a sudden. Haven't done that first time you're playing at game speed. This is, you know, things speed up when you're playing for real.
15-point lead for Cal. Dai Dai Ames, the crossover, spins around and goes.
Those are big-time moves, Roxy. Very difficult to defend that.
And back the other way, Jaden Alexander for Bakersfield.
Well, both teams loosening up a little bit now. It was a little tighter to start the game, but people starting to get comfortable.
Justin Pippen tries to shovel it to Rytis Petritis, ends up out of bounds. Cal with a giveaway.
Well, he thought Rytis was heading to the basket a little bit sooner. You know, that's going to happen a little bit early in the season, getting that timing, that chemistry down. But I still like the effort. I like the unselfishness of the Bears. I mean, the ball's moving. They're setting screens, too. They're really putting bodies on people.
Tough three missed by Mike Price Jr. and a whistle going for the rebound. And they're getting a foul on Cal underneath. And it's on Milos Ilic, his second. Sixth on Cal. And now we'll get our first look in a Cal uniform at Montas Kochanis, the transfer from FAU, the sophomore from Lithuania.
Well, again, Rox, you're bringing guys off the bench that have played. These aren't, you know, first-year freshmen. They're guys with experience under their belt that can help your team.
Kochanis last year battled an injury at FAU, and power move inside by Ron Jessamy for Bakersfield.
Yeah, he's been giving him a lift. I mean, he's strong inside. He's not afraid to knock down the medium shot. He'll help this team this year.
Whistle away from the ball, a hold on C.J. Hardy. First on Hardy.
Cal, a difficult team to guard, Roxy. Again, we mentioned the ball movement, the player movement, and they're actually putting bodies on people. They're setting really tough screens, and they're pretty legal. They're set. I mean, they're not moving.
Ames from deep. Too strong, Rytis Petritis, the offensive rebound, and Pippen is clobbered. And Justin Pippen will go to the line for Cal.
Well, that's what Rytis Petritis does, Roxy. He just keeps the ball alive, gives you an extra possession, and not only does he get the offensive rebound, he finds Justin Pippen for a layup. There's the offensive rebound, and look at him in the motion. I mean, that's big-time play. You get the rebound, and before you even come down with it, you're passing it. That's a credible pass.
One more for Pippen. 8 for Justin Pippen in his Cal debut tonight. Also has 3 assists, and Lee Dort coming back for Mark Madsen. Pippen nails both. Last year average is 1.5 a game, limited duty off the bench at Michigan. But stepping into a prominent role with Cal. Ritas Petrides, who led Cal in steals, takes it away. Tries to lead Dai Dai Ames, who runs it down. Backdoor for Ames. Nice feed from Lee Dort.
Well, Roxy, is again, not often post guys can pass like that. This post players on this team can pass. Lee Dort, a much improved player in the post passing wise, finds his teammate for a layup.
Dai Dai Ames now in double digits with 10. Ron Jessamy steps out, hits a three. Did not make a three all last season. And Jessamy in the season opener for Bakersfield hits one here.
He's been a bright spot. He's playing very well for his team.
Justin Pippen, the fadeaway. And a foul will get him to the line. 11-14 remaining. 14-point lead for Cal. But Lee Dort, how about this pass?
Well, I love it. I mean, he dribbled the ball, passes it off the dribbles. I mean, guards don't do that done already in this game. He's been active on the glass. He's been blocking shots, getting to the rim, scoring with either hand. I mean, just really doing a good job of getting into the paint and scoring. There's a guy last year that only averaged 3-4 points, and he's finding a way. He's got 13 already, but look at the passes. Keeps his head up, throwing dimes. I mean, he's put it together, Roxy. 13 and 7, with a lot of time left in this game. He only averaged 3 points and 4 rebounds a year ago.
3 Bears in double figures. John Camden leads Cal 14, Dort with 13, Dai Dai Ames with 10. And Cal much better offensively here in the second half. And it'll be Justin Pippen to the line. Pippen sitting with 9 points so far in this one, but Pippen has drawn 5 fouls tonight. So he's been aggressive getting to the line. He is now 4 for 7 from the stripe. In and out, the rebound, Ron Jessamy for the Roadrunners.
Well, he won't like being 500 from the line, not when you're an 80% free throw shooter. How about Cal in the zone, Roxy? Mark Madsen said they may show some zone, and they're in it. I like the change here, change of pace. It's a 2-3 match. They're going to match up.
A.J. George, it crawls in, his first points of the night.
Hardest area to guard in zone, Roxy. Middle of the free throw line. That's the weak spot. That's the soft spot.
And George, a couple of years ago, was a big part of that Long Beach State team that won the Big West tournament, went to the NCAA tournament as Justin Pippen buries a three.
Well, he's making it look easy, Roxy. Inside, outside, he's playing with a lot of confidence. For a guy that's only averaged a point a game at Michigan, he's coming in here with a lot of confidence under his belt.
Shot clock at 10. Knocked away from George. Cal steals it. Dai Dai Ames racing up the floor, and Ames lays it in.
Once again, Ritas Petrides, Roxy, gets his hands on the ball, pokes it away, leads to a layup.
Jaden Alexander into the key. Underneath. Wouldn't go. Got his own miss. Then it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Bakersfield.
Here's a poke away by Petrides. Here's the break and the score. I mean, Cal in transition, when they get out and go, Roxy, they're explosive. They've got some weapons. They've got some ball handlers and guys that can attack the rim. That's going to be, I think, a staple for Mark Madsen and staff this year.
Dai Dai Ames curls off the screen. And the pull-up jumper. And Cal has matched their largest lead. Ames, who had an inconsistent ride at Virginia last season, but really came on strong at the end of the year. 1 point last year in conference play. He had 10 straight games in ACC play in double figures.
Well, that's veteran player, and when you put veterans around veterans, they know what to do. It's just a matter of time when things start to click, but they've got some buttons they can push. You know, a lot of teams don't have this depth, nor do they have this experience in a new team, and this is what will really bode well for the Bears.
Ames got free underneath and lays it in. Strong second half for Dai Dai Ames. 9-0 run for Cal.
There's going to have to be a timeout in a minute. I think Coach Scott might have to regroup. This one's getting away from Cal, getting away from the Roadrunners.
And a foul committed by Cal. And it's the third on Nolan Dorsey.
Well, here you see the back cut. I mean, just a simple cut. But again, I'm impressed. Lee Dort and these big guys from Cal, they can pass. They have their head up, and they're looking to see the whole floor. It's a good sight. It's a good sign.
Bonus for Bakersfield, 1-1 for Ron Jessamy. And it rattles out, and there is Dort for the rebound.
Now you got the Roadrunners going back into the zone. They're playing their matchup. See if they can keep Cal at bay here. Slow them down. Get them off their rhythm.
They left Camden open at the foul line. John Camden.
Yeah, he knew just where to go. That's, again, experience on experience. Just immediately goes to the high post and scores it. Perfect guy to play in the high post.
Ron Jessamy, the flip on the baseline. He's got 16.
Well, if nothing else, the Roadrunners have kind of discovered their go-to guy because Jessamy has delivered for his team. Back in the zone. Trying to see if they can get that ball back into the hands of
John Camden squares up again.
Camden. Well, that's lightning struck twice, Roxy. He wasn't leaving that spot. That was a sweet spot. He found it.
Cal's made their last 7 shots from the floor.
That's impressive.
A.J. George. Jessamy leans, got his own miss, didn't hit the rim, so no reset. 5 to shoot, step back in the corner, hit the side of the backboard. Jessamy got it again. That one's too late. Wouldn't have mattered anyways. Shot clock violation. Bakersfield a turnover. 24-point lead. And Cal right now on a 13-2 run.
Well, thanks to John Camden, too. Lately, he's been on fire, but Cal Bears, they've scored it.
And Dai Dai Ames is 7 for 10 for the field since halftime. 14 of his 16 points been since the break.
And he's doing it, Roxy, just taking what the defense gives to him. That's what's been impressive. He hasn't forced anything. He's gotten into the zone, into the paint. He's cut back door, found his way around the basket. He's a wily player. His experience, obviously you mentioned Virginia, but all 3 of these players will give Cal much needed experience because when you're new, you gotta count on that. Think about what Cal's done. I mean, other than Camden and Pippen, they've gone, other than those guys hitting threes, they're 0 for 16 from free. So they're doing it without shooting particularly well. They're doing other things.
And Ames, who was highly recruited coming out of Chicago, was a 4-star recruit, ranked number 58 in the ESPN 100 out of high school. Dai Dai Ames went to Kansas State for his freshman year. Last year was at Virginia, and now is at Cal.
Well, he's doing a great job, but the Bears are putting him in a position, Roxy, to be successful. Well, I like that set right there. They put Camden in the high post. You've got to guard him because he's knocked down 3 threes. And now you're getting up on him, and Dort's just free to roam and post in, duck in on that block. That's a good set coming out of the timeout.
Pierre Gineste just picked up his 5th foul. He's done for the night.
Well, he's talking to the officials about, hey, what did I do? He got caught behind. You got to either be behind or you got to front. And he was kind of trying to get back around. It's too late. Dort did a good job pinning him inside.
6-team foul the Roadrunners. Next one puts Cal into the bonus. As Lee Dort slips to the bucket and lays it in.
Again, great read. Lee Dort set 2 screens on that play. They helped off of Dort, and he slips to the basket. Textbook play by Lee Dort.
Cal's made 8 consecutive shots on the floor, a 15-2 run. And there's a foul out top as Dailiin Smith went crashing. And he'll end up at the foul line for the Roadrunners. But it's been a different story in the second half. Cal in the first half shot 42%. They did some things well. But the second half, as the foul was called on Lee Dort, his fourth. But the second half has been a different story.
No, you're right, Rox. What they've done is they've opened it up. Certainly they've kept up the defensive intensity, but they've really just pushed the ball and gotten the ball into open people's hands. They've moved the basketball, and they played with confidence. That's the key. You can tell Cal is playing with an added confidence that they didn't really have until early. It was early in the game they had it. Then it kind of went away, and that brought it back again. A lot of that comes from the poise of your guards. If your guards are really strong with the ball and sure with it and confident, your team's going to play that way.
Cal shooting 70% from the field in the second half.
That's it? Oh, my goodness.
70%.
Wow.
And they're 2 for 4 from 3.
Well, and you're trying anything now if you're the Roadrunners zone, man, trying to change up their look. But Cal's solving it.
Space for Justin Pippen. And the rebound batted out, and Chris Bell tracks it down for Cal. The steal, though, Jaden Alexander out of bounds. It belongs to the Roadrunners.
Well, that's
Great
also
anticipation by Alexander.
And that's also what Cal's done. They've kept the ball alive offensively. They're a load to keep off the glass. They're aggressive. You know, what you hope for if you're the Roadrunners, you want to get back in a rhythm where you can either get to the foul line or you get some good looks. Cal's making it very difficult for Bakersfield to get clean looks to the basket. They just haven't had many clean looks tonight. I think outside of Jessamy, who's knocked down some shots, they just haven't had any real good looks.
Here's a 3 off the mark from Tom Mark. And the rebound grabbed. A.J. George can't get it to go. And Dai Dai Ames runs it down for Cal. But broken up, C.J. Hardy to steal. Hits the trailer, and a foul as Justin Pippen hammers. Dailiin Smith will go back to the foul line. Second on Pippen.
That was good defense by the Roadrunners. They stepped in the lane to come up with that basketball, but it's really been about Cal's defense most of this game. They've really made it hard. They've defended ball screens. They've been pretty good one-on-one on the basketball. Made it hard. They've challenged up shots. If they challenge shots, Roxy, I would believe Cal's challenge is high. Their challenge percentage would be very high.
One more for Dailiin Smith. Ron Jessamy leads the Roadrunners with 16. Dailiin Smith with 15 points. And now he's got 16 as well.
They're zone back. They're zone press back to zone. They're staying in the 2-3 here, trying to just keep Cal off their rhythm.
Five to shoot. Drop step.
Yeah,
John
Roxy,
Camden will get to the line.
Ball goes to the middle of the zone. As soon as it hits the high post, it's pretty much man-to-man. You've got to get a guy up there in the high post. They did. And what Camden did is what you should do. He just drove him one-on-one. It's just a hard cover, getting the ball in the middle of the floor. Smart play.
Fourth on A.J. George, and 2 shots for John Camden, who's 3 for 3 from the line. One more for Camden.
He's been a great addition to this Cal team. He really anchors that team just in terms of experience, poise, knows where to play.
Camden with 20. A career high of 36 last year in a game against William and Mary.
Yeah, he's got the ability to score, but doesn't need to score to be effective. He can, but he does so many other things well.
He had 10 20-point games, 4 30-point games last year for John Camden. And it belongs to Cal. was an 11-point lead at the half, and Cal has ballooned it to 24. They're looking to add to it here. Justin Pippen, the lob, just out of the reach of Lee Dort, and a turnover by the Golden Bears.
Right idea, because Dort's man helped, and Justin Pippen couldn't quite deliver it, but those plays will connect as the year goes on, as the chemistry gets better. Boy.
And the bump, fourth foul on John Camden.
You know, one thing that is noticeable to me, Roxy, is that how well Cal's guarding ball screens. And you guard ball screens with your post guys. Lee Dort couldn't do this a year ago. He is out now defending out on the perimeter, stopping the ball at the point of the attack, and he's doing a great job making it very hard to turn the corner. And that's a real asset if you're a post guy.
And the other thing I've noticed about this team, so look, it's one game, and I've seen a couple practices and seen them work. There's more of a buy-in to defense. Last year,
they tried to outscore you.
They did, and they had some guys that were
and
capable scorers.
And they could outscore you.
But it just seems that this group is more connected defensively and willing to be.
No, and that comes from the coaches, Roxy. If you go to practice as we did, they've got a lot of emphasis on defense.
Cal goes inside. Bears have made 9 of their last 10 shots from the floor.
No, they've been a problem here. The Bears have been a problem for the Roadrunners. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're trying to draw that foul on Dort. They had got away with one.
A.J. George misses the floater. Lee Dort pulls it down for Cal.
Well, he's got some numbers. He's been on that glass all night, Lee Dort.
9 rebounds for Dort. Bakersfield has missed their last 6 from the field. Justin Pippen. Chris Bell. 3.
Well, again, Lee Dort with the time to pass out of the double team finds his guy right on the money. I mean, that's just good passing.
Tough shot. Dailiin Smith comes up empty. The rebound, John Camden. Cal pushes. Here's Pippen attacking. Justin Pippen lays it in.
Well, he got fouled on that play. No call. Referees must have a plane to catch. Actually, they don't.
A.J. George, 3. And George with 5 tonight. Averaged 10.5 a couple of years ago at Long Beach. Dai Dai Ames. How about that ball handling to the bucket?
He's a load, Roxy. He's so good with the basketball, can get to the rim, change his speed, change of direction. Now Roadrunners calling a timeout, and they're going to make this a full.
Cal, second half, they have really turned it up.
Well, they've done a great job, and they've done it really off their defense, Roxy. So stay tuned. Cal's not slowing down. You're going to have to slow them down. They're not slowing down. Contribution. And then we talked about a much improved Lee Dort. This is an impressive first outing for the Bears. If you look at their performance, they've really shown you some things.
First appearance for Bentley Waller for Bakersfield. Inside, and a miss from Jaden Alexander. Alexander misses again, and it's Pippen pulling it down for Cal.
Well, that's just a case of the Roadrunners hurrying themselves inside, not drawing a foul and coming up empty because they were there point blank. Didn't score it.
And a foul, and it's on Mike Price Jr. of the Roadrunners. Beat the coach of the Hornets at Sac State.
I've seen enough of Mike Bibby in my career, more than I'd like to have seen with the way he played in the NBA career he had, but he's going to be a great coach.
Front end miss by Dai Dai Ames. And the rebound brought down by Bakersfield as Mark Madsen subbing in B.J. Fisher, the sophomore from Redwood High School up in the North Bay, the Ross, California native. Right there, number 26, the sophomore guard. And he gets into the
He wants to
official
get in the
box score
He
now.
wants to get in the box
Got
score.
a foul.
And the officials oblige him, which goes back to my point. They're doing a good job. Can't believe you accuse me of trying to gain favor with the officials. I have nothing to gain.
One more for Bentley Waller.
Well, it's great to see Mark Madsen be able to go to his bench. That doesn't, in early first game, that's, their starters earn that right for the guys coming in. But, it's interesting, Roxy, they've shown depth. There's just a number of players that Cal have put on the floor that can flat out play and be productive. It's a good sign.
First college points for Bentley Waller. Also in for Bakersfield, freshman from the Woodlands near Houston, TJ James Jr. Inside, dropping it in. Montas Pachanis. Final minute, and Cal with a win tonight. It would be their 300th victory inside Haas Pavilion.
Yeah,
Do you have any idea how many of those are yours?
I don't know. I don't know.
Take a guess.
I don't remember, but a few. You know better than me. You were there.
I did.
You announced it.
105. 105 are yours.
Yeah, we had some good years. But Roxy, this has been a great place to play. And for Bob Haas and his family, and Peter Haas, the Haas family that put this place together, this has been a great venue.
And Walter.
And Walter
and Wally.
Haas, and Wally, and yeah, exactly. They did a great job, and this can be a great home court, as you know. So a lot of those wins, our fans were able to give us. But that's amazing. It's just you think about 300.
Over and back violation. Turnover is Diakwe Maniel Dut, the sophomore from the South Sudan, makes his Cal debut. And also, here is a legacy Golden Bear coming in. Checking in is Luke Butler. From Austin, Texas, he is the son of a former terrific player back in the mid and late 80s for Cal, Dave Butler.
Well, Dave Butler, you bet. It's great to see, Roxy, the continuity here.
Swatted by Maniel Dut. Back the other way, Butler. DJ Fisher. And the offensive rebound and the putback missed by Diakwe Maniel Dut. And countering is Bakersfield to the bucket laid in, Mike Price Jr.
Yeah, they'll walk it up maybe. Let's see. No, maybe not.
And stepping on the sideline, a turnover by Stephon Marbury II. And with 11 seconds to go, it belongs to the Roadrunners. Next up for Cal State Bakersfield, they will be home. Their home opener against Whittier on Thursday, 11 a.m. tip-off at Bakersfield, by the way, for that game.
Ooh. Well, Cal's going to have some games coming up that will benefit them, but this was a good opener, Roxy, for Cal. I think they showed themselves, their fans, each other, that they can play and that these new guys are for real.
Final score, 87-60. Cal wins their season opener